Welcome to Less Than 12 Parsecs, the fastest Star Wars podcast in the galaxy. Now here's your host, Tim McMahon.
It's Friday! That means it's time to recap and review all the Star Wars headlines that grabbed my attention this week, and then I'll share a quick thought or two about each one. But because this is Less Than 12 Parsecs, the fastest Star Wars podcast in the galaxy, we don't have much time for much more than that. Actually, that said, I do have plenty of time this week because there wasn't that much news. I know I've been saying it the last few weeks, but I really mean it this week. I am of the opinion that everyone is holding back their announcements, their reveals, their headlines for Star Wars Celebration. Star Wars Celebration less than a month away. I'm not going, but still, I'm so darn excited. There were plenty of articles to be found about Star Wars, but not much that I would call newsworthy. Every day I check out JediNews.co.uk, far and away, hands down, the greatest Star Wars news website out there, and I also get a Google alert from Google News. At the end of each day, they send me an email with all the new Star Wars related articles they posted in the last 24 hours. I scour through them, but again, not much news. If there was one thing this week I would call the most newsworthy, it was something Gary Whitta said. Here, let me read to you a paragraph from Jedi News directly. They write, quote, in an article with Coming Soon, Rogue One co-writer Gary Whitta stated that Lucasfilm will not be looking to base future films in the Star Wars saga on established legacy characters. Rather, the company would prefer to tell all new stories and develop new characters, planets, etc., set in that expansive galaxy far, far away. Unquote. Wow. So, what this means is, after the Han Solo movie, it doesn't look like we'll see a Dexter Jetster movie, or a Greedo movie, or a Jabba the Hutt movie, or a Yoda movie, because they would rather tell new stories about new characters. I think that's a good thing. I know a lot of fans, myself included, worried when they announced the Han Solo movie that they would just be going through and telling stories about all the people we already know. It's a whole galaxy. There's plenty of room. There's lots of stories to be told. I'm happy to hear they're branching out. The next thing that caught my attention, and this really again isn't news, but so many people online this week are talking about Star Wars Rebels. Why? Because in the episode that comes out tomorrow, today's Friday, Saturday's a new episode, we finally get to see the rematch between Darth Maul, now just called Maul, and Obi-Wan Kenobi. What's gonna happen? Sabers will be drawn for sure, but how will it end? Dave Filoni did say this week that Maul was initially slated to be killed off in the season 2 finale. So, if they're willing to kill him off, I don't know. I don't think things look too great for our pal Maul. That kind of saddens me because I like what they've done with the character over the last few years. So many people online are taking bets, running polls, guessing, predicting, speculating. We'll find out in just 24 hours. The third thing to grab my attention was news about Star Wars Land. Star Wars Land, if that's going to be its official name, I'm not really 100% sure on that, is still under construction at Disneyland and Disney World, and because it's a 14-acre expansion to the parks, they really can't hide that from sightseers. So people are able to watch the construction as it happens. For the most part, it's just been a lot of piles of dirt being moved around, some scaffolding, some cement being poured. You really can't tell what's what until now. Apparently, 2 full-scale AT-ATs can be seen at Disneyland in Anaheim. Now, as I recently confessed on my last episode, I've never been to a Disney park, but I have seen the photos, and I do know there is an AT-AT at the park already, but I've been told it's not quite 100% full scale, and supposedly these 2 new AT-ATs are full scale. That will be a sight to see in person. I kind of hope they turn it into a ride. Wouldn't it be great if you could rappel up and then bungee jump down like Luke does when he tosses the thermal detonator into the AT-AT in Empire Strikes Back? Or maybe that's just me. I think it would be fun. All right, the last thing is a video going around. Again, not very newsworthy, but it grabbed my attention because I love viral videos. Hey, have you seen the BBC interview with the expert who's in his home office and his kids bust in while he's in the middle of the interview? Well, of course, someone had to make a Star Wars version of this. We have Darth Vader in his home office, but then boom, in comes R2, followed by BB-8. And then a very frazzled and frightened-looking Leia comes in to scamper them out of the room. It's pretty funny. You can find the links to this on my show notes and on my website, TwelveParsecsPodcast.com, if you haven't seen it already. But I kind of bet you have. If you're listening to this, I bet you keep up to date on this kind of thing. Anyway, those are the 4 headlines, for lack of a better word, that grabbed my attention this week. Was there some article out there I should have seen? Is there some bit of news I missed? Please let me know. Email me at 12parsecs@gmail.com or connect with me on any of my social media accounts. All the links can be found on my website, 12parsecs.podcast.com. Thanks for listening. Utini!
You've been listening to Less Than 12 Parsecs, the fastest Star Wars podcast in the galaxy, part of the expanded Fandomverse network of shows. For links and show notes, visit our website, 12parsecsPodcast.com. Follow Less Than 12 Parsecs on Twitter at 12parpod, on Instagram at 12parsecsPodcast, on Tumblr at 12parsecsPodcast, and find us on Facebook as well. And please let us know what you think. Email us at 12parsecsPodcast@gmail.com.